being a control freak in your martial arts school is preventing your school from growing. Okay, so if you have to be in charge of everything, if you have to micromanage everything, if you're not happy the way things are done with your team, again, I get it, I understand, but as a consequence of that, you're limiting your school growth. You really are. Now, this is from somebody who's been there and done that. If you're not training them up to a suitable level and they're making certain mistakes and so on, then ultimately, again, it's down upon us as school owners to hold ourselves responsible and have that accountability and think, right, they've messed up because I didn't train them well enough. I didn't train them thoroughly enough. We've got to understand that just like when we're teaching our students on the mats, very rarely does a student pick up something after showing them it once. Sometimes we get those students, don't we? But most of the time, it's drip fed to them, a few moves here, then we add on to those moves, then we add on to it a little bit more, then they know all of it, and then we need to keep going over it and refining it, keep going over it and ironing out creases, keep going over it and getting rid of any small little habits that they might have picked up. The same is true within your team training. So if you are doing 99% of the jobs in your school's going to be, it's going to be limited. Now, I think before I employed somebody, I think I was definitely over 100 active students and I had classes 4 or 5 days a week. At that time, I'm sure as well, I was still lecturing in a college. So it was all evenings, then on a Saturday. And I was adamant I didn't want to employ anybody. Maybe because of the additional charge, maybe because of the headache that'd go with it. I'd need to train them up and so on. But it was backward thinking. Again, I was a young man then, or hopefully younger man then. So I didn't really understand. I couldn't see the wood for the trees. I didn't understand the benefit of it. At least if I did it myself, I know it would be done properly. And if anything did go wrong, it would be down on me. You probably resonate with some of that stuff. But it's such a backward way to think about it. You must be training your team members on how you do things and your systems and your way so that they're building it up. And one day you might say, right, I'm going away for a month. My school's doing excellent. There you go, you're in charge. And this shouldn't be a big, it shouldn't rock the boat too much because they've all been continually trained. They know what to do. Your role, maybe not now, but as you evolve, should be more of a CEO type of leader of, only doing what you want to do. So if you only want to teach the black belts, fantastic, you're only going to teach the black belts. If you only want to teach the white belts because you love the grassroots level, then you're only going to teach that. If you only want to do the master classes or seminars once a month, then that's all you do. Okay? Or you might then really enjoy team training or building up your team's physical skill as well, so that again your knowledge can filter through everybody. So with that, if you're doing 99% of the jobs yourself, you're limiting your school. Like I said, the problem is there's only so much that you can do and there's a limit to your active count. Now, people can say to me, like when I've had school evaluation, well, this is automated, that's automated. Fantastic, well done. You're taking stuff off your plate. And again, you've probably got some Tim Ferriss 4-hour work week in there or some Brian Tracy, no excuses type of mindset. Brilliant, good stuff. But in your martial arts school, there will always, always, always be the need for face-to-face communication. All right, even if you're doing Zoom lessons or online, you're still having to speak to somebody. I don't think AI is caught up with that, and if it will, it won't replace that human interaction because everybody will need the rapport. Okay, so people buy from people, people don't buy from companies. So again, just hopefully you made a few notes on this. I always encourage my mentees to make as many notes as possible, reread them, watch these videos again. If you're not training up your team, it's going to be causing you headache further down the line. If you haven't got anybody to train up yet, then look at your junior black belts because they could potentially be your next future instructors. So I wouldn't think, and again, I've put this down in my book, one of the chapters, I never bothered training anybody, before they were 18. And as a result, imagine how many hundreds of students I let go. Whereas if I'd just given them something else to focus on as well as their training, they'd feel more part of it and it'd help it grow. And not only that, you're going to be taking them on as an apprenticeship of this is how we do things. Just like, thousands of years ago in the martial arts, that's how people learnt the art. You could apply that same principle to your team training and how you do certain things. So if you're serious about growing your school, that's one thing you need to look at. Start to train people. It might only be half an hour a week. It might be 45 minutes a week. It might be an hour a week. It might be 10 minutes after every class if you do 3 or 4 classes a week. I don't know. But the journey of 1,000 miles takes part with the first step. It's that principle. If you are a serious school owner, okay, you're watching this, so congratulations. If you are a serious school owner, then have a look, seriously consider booking a school evaluation where I will look at your school in depth, ask you lots of questions and get a very, very good idea of how your school runs, what its strengths are, but most importantly, where the biggest hidden opportunities lie that you might not necessarily know about, or you might not necessarily, have seen or been aware of. So have a look at that. Check out my website, dervishdervish.com, or, again, depending on when you're watching this, senseiintheroom.com. So again, underline it again. If you're doing 99% of the work in your school, there's going to be a limit as to what you can achieve, okay? Remember that old African saying? I think it goes something like, if you want to go far, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Same principle, okay? I'm here to help you if you want to go far and if you want to build a successful school. Good luck, all the best, take care.